Go.
Okay, that's. Good morning and welcome to this first meeting of the Town Council Standards Committee. Before the meeting begins, the subcommittee needs to elect a chair. It's been suggested that the chair of the parent committee, Governance and Audit, which is Councillor North East, should chair this, but it's open to any other nominations, and I hand it over to members on that front.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yep. Happy to accept that recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take that as duly nominated and seconded, and then I'll pass over back to you then, Councillor North East.
Thank you, Pete, for that. I've got to go through a little bit of housekeeping before we start, so please bear with me. The meeting will be held under the regulations allowing local authorities to meet formally using remote technology, with their standing orders having been updated to allow for this meeting to be streamed live, and it's available to view on our website. This meeting is devoted to one matter, and because the second half of the meeting is confidential, the live streaming of the meeting will stop when the exempt business begins. Members will then reconvene in a private session to continue the meeting. If at any time the Town Council's technology fails and we need to adjourn the meeting for a short period, I will confirm this and ask all those present to turn their cameras off and mute their microphones while the problem is rectified. I will then confirm when the meeting will resume. We can only monitor our technology and cannot halt the meeting if a member of the press or public experiences technology issues. I will now ask the Town Clerk to carry out a roll call of all councillors, 3 of us, and ask you to confirm that you are present. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor North East?
Yep, present.
Councillor Long?
Yes.
Councillor Seeks? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear me? Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you. That's good. Back to you, Chair.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Item 1, standard procedure, mobile phones. Please make sure they're turned off for the duration of the meeting. Apologies. There are no apologies because we're all here. So I'll ask the Town Clerk to read out the names of those who have sent their apologies, but there isn't any, so I won't read that bit out. Moving to the next item, declarations of interest. There are standing declarations and these are noted. Members and officers are reminded to make any other declarations if they become apparent at the appropriate time during the meeting. Are there any further declarations?
I suppose I'm the only one that's a member of the Liberal Democrat group, and all of the people at the time were part of that group. So
I think
that's logged anyway in your
Yeah.
in your declarations anyway, so we'll have that. But we'll
Yeah.
note it.
I mean, I don't know whether it's worth mentioning as well that that certainly myself, I became a friend with Tracy, and I still am a friend of Tracy's. So that will always stand. That's unfortunate. I can't get away from that because she's a member of the Town Council, and I knew her as a colleague, and that's it. Unfortunately, I don't know whether we need to declare that as some sort of personal interest.
It's by the very nature of it, it means that as a town councillor, you all know her.
Yeah.
And in your case, and in Councillor Six's case as district councillors, you know her as well. So we'll note that she is an acquaintance of you both.
Okay. Chair's report and urgent items. I don't think there are any, Pete, are there?
None, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item, which is the public forum. In accordance with the remote meetings protocol, which has been introduced by the Town Council, any members of the public wishing to address the Council or any of its committees during remote meetings should have emailed their submission to us one clear day before the meeting. And I'll hand over to the Town Clerk because I think he has one such question. Pete?
Yep, thanks, Chair. I was waiting for the light. There has been one representation from Mr. Chester, who asks, the Council's standing orders state that Governance and Audit may establish, when required, a standard subcommittee to determine how to comply with the recommendations of the monitoring officer. Recommendations from the Standards Board for England are that Standards Committee hearings should be heard in public where legally possible, and that up-to-date register of complaints should be published. The Arran website currently states there are no complaints against councillors, has no in-breach notices published, and there have been no meetings of the Standards Committee to consider any recommendations of an assessment panel against any members of Littlehampton Town Council. Is there any public openness and transparency in this process at all? So in response, and in thanking Mr. Chester for his question, some clarification is required. The Standards Board for England and the regime that went with it was abolished by the Localism Act in 2011. The current regime operates with each council being able to have its own code of conduct. Any complaints against councillors will be received by the monitoring officer and judged against this code, and in accordance with the Principal Authority's local assessment procedure. Where complaints are received about a town councillor, these will be investigated and a report put before a meeting of the Town Council Standards Committee. At this stage, the matter is confidential. Although those who complained and those complained about will have contributed to the investigation, been informed of the findings and given the opportunity to comment upon these. When the subcommittee has reached a decision, a notice of such will be placed on either the Town Council or District Council website. This is similar to the arrangements that are in place at the District Council for their members. The Town Council will always consider whether it is in the public interest to discuss exempt matters in public, and in doing so, whether this public interest outweighs the need for confidentiality. The Town Council has decided that these matters should be discussed in the exempt part of the agenda, and this is picked up in our standing orders. The process is open and transparent to both the complainants and the person complained about. The outcome will be available to the public. I'm not aware of any other complaints against Littlehampton Town Councillors and should point out that this is the first under these arrangements. Therefore, there is nothing historically to record publicly. When this matter is decided, it will be the first entry on a register.
Thanks, Peter. And that concludes the public question time. Moving on to item 6, which is exempt business, and it's recommended that the public and accredited representatives of the press be excluded from the meeting under Section 100 Local Government Act 1972 due to the confidential nature of the business to be concluded. I need that to be seconded and agreed.
Yeah, I second that.
Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll bring this part of the meeting to a close at 9:42 and confirm that the recording can end.
Thank you.